Angela McRobbie is a famous British scholar. She is a culture theorist, a feminist, and commentator whose work combines the study of popular culture, contemporary media practices, and feminism through conceptions of a third-person reflexive gaze. She is a professor of communications at Goldsmiths College, University of London. She used feminist theory to study the British fashion industry between mid-1980s and mid-1990s. Professor McRobbie found that the British fashion industry had a great time starting from the 1980s. The leaders of the trend were Vivienne Westwood and young fashion designers who graduated from UK art schools where they were trained in fashion design. It was the best time for small business women designers. They received crucial government subsidy. They enjoyed healthy collaboration between designers and producers. They were recognized with their distinctiveness in fashion design, which were regarded as arts and culture. However, school time for young British women designers ended quickly by the middle of the 1990s. There were a number of reasons. McRobbie blames the scholar for not giving the female entrepreneurs enough support. They should have supported them strongly by claiming their achievements as a feminist phenomenon. McRobbie also listed other reasons for the decline of young British female designers: their lack of ability to receive advertisements, their being too artistically experimental, their facing competition from big brands which reformed themselves quickly, and the advent of global manufacturing. While analyzing all challenges faced by young women designers between mid-1980s and mid-1990s, McRobbie pointed at the poor political background behind their entrepreneurship. There were not enough feminist policymakers and feminist academic studies of those brave young women entrepreneurs. In light of brilliant research of McRobbie, a better study can be conducted on the Chinese fashion industry of the last 40 years, with a strong focus on the young female entrepreneurs. China has been the largest manufacturer and exporter of apparel products in the world for decades, which provides solid foundation for Chinese fashion designers. After joining the WTO, China's clothing export enjoyed a boom around 2000. It gave Chinese fashion industry a jump of expectation and excitement in 2018. China accounted for half of global textile and clothing production, but its fashion industry was still small in comparison. The Chinese fashion industry at that time used a lot of young female workforce. The industry was urban-based and labor-intensive. The young women workers used their income to get rid of their old family structure. They gained their own economic power. It was based on this background the Chinese female entrepreneurs began to grow in the fashion industry. They were mostly engaged in small-scale, independent economic activities. Some of them used to be subcontracted for major international brands such as Zara. They formed the backbone of the success of Chinese fashion industry up to the millennium. What is the most interesting is the appearance of a new generation of Chinese female designers, usually benefited from wealth, family, financial support. Many of them have a background of studying fashion design in Western countries, especially in the UK. The clash of Western and Eastern ideas inspires the young generation of Chinese female designers. They have begun to occupy an important position in China's fashion industry. The coming of the digital era provided more opportunity to young Chinese female entrepreneurs as online platforms such as Alibaba and its branch Taobao sparked related industries such as fashion, e-commerce. Many young women designers set up their online shops, which helps them sell their products with significant profit. With the online platforms, modeling also becomes more accessible, and new models can show new fashion design for thousands of viewers through internet. Also relying on the internet, a large number of female Chinese students from the UK's top art schools are doing online journalism about the world's fashion industry, and she has become an important part of the ecosystem. Although prosperous, there are still a number of potential pitfalls to female empowerment in China's fashion industry. As many fashion manufacturers using young women as a main labor source, female workforce has experienced a certain degree of exploitation. Problems of inequality between male and female staff exist everywhere in the industry. To be able to be recognized, many young female designers had to bribe people in important positions in the industry, and such people are most older men. There have been a number of scandals about young models being sexually harassed. In the inner circle of the Chinese fashion industry, exchange of money, business, and flash have been frequent. Finally, there is an nightmare that haunted the Chinese fashion industry. Since a large number of young Chinese female designers rely heavily on imitation of famous European fashion brands, questions have been seriously raised about to what degree their work could be categorized as creative economics.